Welcome to the LANCave, where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen.
Hello.
Yeah, and we're talking video games, gaming news, nerd stuff, all kinds of cool stuff. If you're cool cats like us, you cool cats and kittens, then you will love it here. If you've never listened to us before, we're pretty cool guys. We're your average white guys playing video games still in their 30s, and that's okay.
It's absolutely okay. I don't need to justify myself to you. Don't attack me. I'm just kidding.
Triggered. Yeah, we talk gaming news every week. We try not to be fanboys, but we're fanboys about some things. So, what have you been playing lately?
Still working on The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
You
said you're having trouble towards the end, like difficulty wise.
Yeah, I think it's more stress than anything. I just get really stressed. There's a particular chapter of the game where I feel that if I was playing it on hard, like I just don't know if I would do it. So I actually enjoyed Naughty Dog's accessibility settings where you can customize your difficulty settings. So I've changed a couple things. I left a few things at the normal difficulty where I was playing at, and I changed a couple of them to easier.
That's cool.
Just so I can kind of get through it. It's not like I'm like trying to rush through the end of the game. It's just the second half is, to me, noticeably more difficult than the first half of the game, which is probably expected, but at the same time, I kind of didn't want it to be. I kind of enjoyed the difficulty of the first half, but I felt like I had a good clip going. I felt like I was getting through it okay, and then the difficulty just kind of went up. There's a lot more infected spots than in the first half of the game, and I just don't enjoy those as much. I don't think you're supposed to or anything, but I don't enjoy that particular challenge. I just want to play the story, which the story's gotten pretty good. I think I'm probably around 3/4 of the way through the game now, so we're making headway.
Yeah, so you're getting there. I totally get it when it comes to games that the difficulty just climbs all of a sudden, and certain games where like it's expected, and others where it's just a complete turnoff. I think I've talked to you about this before. I've mentioned on the show before. In Borderlands, the original Borderlands, Whitney played it with me up until the first time where you have like a horde mode kind of thing going on, and she just rage quitted. It was like it's too much, and I told her, oh, this is optional. Like we can skip this part because it is an optional thing in Borderlands, and it turned her off so bad she hasn't played Borderlands since, which sucks because she wants to enjoy. She wants to be challenged a little bit, but she wants to to be winning, if you will. And yeah, The Last of Us is a little punishing. Yeah,
I've actually heard from some people who are better at video games that they didn't find it to be that difficult at all. So I think that, and I've been pretty sure about this for a little while, I don't think that I'm as good at video games as I used to be, at least action-based ones. I think I'm probably better than I ever have been at RPGs, and better than I ever have been. I'm a great MMORPG player. I love to like raid and memorize those fights and that kind of thing. But in terms of like a very like real-time action-based game, I just don't think I'm as good as I was when I was younger. I feel all the time my skills are just diminishing. So that sucks. But at the same time, if games keep putting in these awesome like settings like Naughty Dog does, then it's not going to matter, because I found I was having a real difficulty with one part. I adjusted a couple things and I got through it, not with ease. It was still I still left it at like a difficulty to where there was a challenge, but instead of dying like at the same spot several times like I did, I died once more in like a middle section, and then I got past it. So as long as the game has that, I'm looking at you, Miyazaki. You you do whatever you want, Miyazaki. I'm just not going to play your game. That's
you mean Hideo Miyazaki or Hidetako? can't remember how to pronounce
I'm
his name.
thinking of Dark Souls Miyazaki. That's his name, isn't it?
There's two Miyazakis. So
Oh, of course there is. Okay.
Well, I'm playing one that like segues into that because I'm playing Mortal Shell. I'm addicted to this. I'm still playing the beta, and I know it's nowhere near your thing.
Nope. I watched a little bit.
I like it. The more that I played, the more that I like it. My playthroughs on Facebook were horrendous. I'm a lot better now. That was like completely blind. I'd heard of it, and I saw someone streaming like the tutorial, and I was like, I'll try it out. I'm addicted now. I've done a bunch of, I've done almost 3 playthroughs up to the boss. Like I haven't beaten the boss, the main boss yet. But it's good. It's challenging. It adds a lot of mechanics that aren't in Dark Souls at all. Because Dark Souls, it's like, oh yeah, you can dodge and maybe you can parry if you're really good. This one you can like harden your skin. Also, you inhabit like shells of people who were inhabitants in this world. So like you're like this, I don't know, husk of a person, but you can inhabit them and that becomes your class. So like this guy's more of like a tank, and there's another one who's kind of like a rogue, and you can swap between bodies. But if you swap between bodies, it does like reset the entire world.
Is the entire game this dark, or is the entire beta this dark?
It's pretty dark.
Okay.
Actually,
not that that's a problem. I'm just wondering if there's some daylight in the game.
Not that I've seen.
Okay.
In fact, this is the lighter area.
Gotcha.
My gamma settings may be messed up on this because of the monitors that I'm using, though.
Yeah.
So it could be that.
I think it looked different on the stream, so.
Yeah, maybe that. But I mean, I'm really liking it. Like I said, that there's a lot more mechanics. I'm probably going to do, because this is in the beta and the game comes out in September, I'm probably going to do some videos talking about the game, talking about the lore and the characters of what we know, and then building on that as the game comes out, because I'm intrigued by the little bits that they give you, because just like the Dark Souls games, they don't really tell you a lot. You see things in item descriptions. This actually tells you more than in Dark Souls, where there's actually some dialogue bits that you're learning about who these people were. So I'm digging it, and I think if you like Dark Souls, you probably really like the game. It's very challenging, and it still has some bugs in it, but hopefully this will get worked out. Yeah, it's a beta. Yeah.
Should we expect more streams at facebook.com/TheLanCave?
Yes, you should. Probably streaming this. I may stream tomorrow. I know I'm going to be streaming more Resident Evil this weekend. I'll probably stream this on the weekend as well. So definitely getting some gaming on in that. A lot of the footage that I'm taking some like just kind of randomly throughout the day, because I was trying to grab a specific gameplay things, which just isn't fun if I'm like jumping into Facebook and just being like, hey, I'm just going to do this one thing 15 times in a row to try to get it perfect. Like that's just not entertaining. I mean, I guess Twitch probably would like that though, where it's, if I labeled the video that way, dig it.
You could probably label Facebook that way as well. Like it's fine, probably as long as you're playing the game. Like I think that games. I mean, all games have their own audience, but a game like a Souls game, I think it's expected that that's gonna happen, especially like there's people who's really are good at these types of games, and I'm not saying that you're not good, but like I think that there's an expectation where like, and you're in a beta, like you're not gonna know how to do every single thing with your character. So I think that like if somebody's watching that, I think that there's people who understand that desire to get it like 100% right, because I feel like if there's a game like genre that's for getting things like 100% right, I feel like it's Souls games.
It's probably that. I mean, I spent 40 minutes the other day like trying to like time parries, because the parry system is really cool, and I'm still having trouble with it, but like that's going to be boring to your average person. But yeah, I guess you're right. For a Dark Souls person, if I was like, if I typed put in Mortal Shell get good at parries, then people probably cool with it.
Title it, and like you mentioned, you're also doing some your Resident Evil chronological playthrough. I have not started my my show streams yet. I thought that I would be done with The Last of Us already, but I am not. So hopefully I'll be streaming next week. I really want to get the game done by the end of this weekend. My wife knows that I want to finish the game, and so hopefully I'll be streaming one of the weeknights next week that is not Thursday night, because obviously we do our podcast here at facebook.com/TheLanCave live.
Yeah.
So
And
lots
speaking
of
of that, I'm thinking, yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of that, I'm thinking about that. So our other show, the Breaking Cinematic Universe, is shameless plug to our own shows. That one we've been recording on Monday. I'm considering streaming that Monday. I just don't think the time. I don't know if people may or may not want to watch it because it's a little early, but we may end up streaming that live as well. Just I think it'd be cool to do that interactive. Because we just want to do more stuff with you guys and hang out with you guys, talk nerd stuff. Speaking of nerd stuff, we got gaming news, and the first thing that came up, which is the title of this video, because I just kind of buried the lead with that, ruined, I guess, the lead with that. But Sony's bought stake in Epic Games. When you look at the numbers, it looked pretty substantial, and I would say that they're definitely trying to foster that relationship. But as you pointed out, it's not that much in the grand scheme of things. $250 million into and was it $18 billion, sorry, $1 billion gaming company. So it's not a small chunk of change, but that's a small percentage when it comes to that. And it's Sony proper. You did correct me before we got in here. It's not Sony Entertainment. So this is more of a venture. Yep. So it's more of a venture when it comes to a business rather than a gaming console to gaming console thing. I already saw people saying like, "Oh my God, all Epic, everything that's Unreal is going to be locked on PlayStation for timed exclusives." I'm like, just don't extrapolate, because they're stupid. Like, there's no way they would do that. People are just trying to speculate or create some hype.
So to roll it back for just a second, just so everybody can like think about the percentages. So back in, I wanted to get like the right year, and now I don't even think that I have it right now. I want to say it was 2017, but Tencent, everybody's favorite Chinese holding company, bought a 40% stake in Epic for $330 million. So you're like, oh my gosh, did Sony do they have a commanding share? No, because back then that was before Fortnite became the boom that it was, and Epic got it at an $825 million valuation. So for those of you who have watched some Shark Tank in your day, you know that valuation goes up if the value of your company goes up. So Epic's now worth billions of dollars, nearly 20. And so if you look at the math, and the math hasn't exactly come out, but if they bought it at the estimated valuation of the company, they bought a whopping 1% stake in Epic. So for $250 million, that only buys you 1% right now. So really, I think that this is a thing. I think that this is a relationship building technique. I also think that it's just a way for Sony to easily profit off some things. Now, let's just say they get a small profit share off of now everything that uses Unreal Engine. They're just shaving off some cents. A little bit of cents, and I think that there's a lot of people out there, the easy internet speculation. It's like, oh, well, now all those comments about how good the PS5 was, you could tell that it was bought. That's completely incorrect. The PS5 is an amazing piece of hardware, and that guy does not care enough to lie. He does not care enough to lie, and they only own 1% of the company. So there's no way that opinion was bought, because Epic has a vision right now. They're trying to, they went from just having Unreal Engine, they now have their own game store. They have a game that brings them quite a bit of money. They're trying to compete with the likes of Steam, and then Unreal 5 looks dope. So Epic also just doesn't care enough to blow smoke up Sony's rear. I don't have to. I think that this is just a fostering of the business decision. I think that they're like, Unreal's going to be awesome on PS5. We want to show you that we have a stake in that. We want to buy maybe a little extra support. Maybe there might be some of that where now that they own a piece of the company, they don't have to pay for the tech support for using Unreal 5. So you could probably expect Unreal 5 to be maybe used in more Sony first party games, because right now Sony uses Decima engine. Days Gone was built on Unreal 4, but the majority of their first-party games are built on Decima, so that's their proprietary engine. But now maybe Unreal 5 is so awesome that they're like, hey, we are willing to pay upfront right now to get lifelong, support for free, or quote unquote for free, but like we now have a piece of the pie, so now just
whatever preferred vendor relation kickbacks. It's not something that we're gonna see in regards to a marketing thing. This is all behind the scenes kind of stuff, or it may be some help and some kickbacks in regards to those PlayStation studios that are needing licensing, maybe better pricing, because the Unreal's free to use, but publishing, there's cost involved. So maybe there's some better cost involved that they're going to negotiate out. And either way, I think it's going to be it's all a business decision, as you mentioned. The PS5 is going to rock either way. I think the PS5 and the Xbox Series X are both going to be amazing consoles. I'm curious about a lot of things, but
so if you think Tim Sweeney cares about this $250 million when they're valued at $20 billion almost, like you just throw that away. I think that Sony was just like, let us in, and they paid a lot of money to get in. So
100%, they'll make money back on it though. But speaking of Sony and PlayStation, we did get some artwork. We now know what it's the box art, not for the PS5 but for the games. We got some view of that, and here's a comparison. That's the Sony PS4 Spider-Man, and here's PS5.
Whoa,
I like it. It's like, it's different enough, but at the same time we still got that blue going on. It's on brand, but
I think it's clean. I think it's super clean. I think that they recognize that this is going to be definitely like a generation where you're going to be playing a lot of your PS4 games on the PS5 with that backwards compatibility, and so it's nice whenever you're looking at it on the shelf. Here is what is it, the blue banner on PS4 games? So here's your blue banner around it. Here's your white banner. It's easy to tell. It looks clean on your shelf because all of we're still using all those same Blu-ray cases that we were using before. I wasn't expecting a big whatever. I think it's clean. I think that they're really going for that white, black, and blue that they did with the console. So I like that they matched that up.
100% agree. I've got because I got my Xbox 360 games, I got Xbox One games, PS3 games, PS4 games, and there's a big difference when you look generation to generation. Xbox 360 ones look dated next to the Xbox One games, and the Xbox One games have they got a couple weird quirks with them. I mean, they're the same size, but like the disc is on the other end, and I don't know, when you look at them together, it's very stark in the difference. Where I think you're right. It's a clean transition of it all being on brand. They fit well together, and you're right. I think that people are going to be playing PS4 games. It's not going to be I'd say it's usually about a year and a half or 2 years or so of adoption where people start getting the next console. I think we're going to see more than that with the PS4. It's sold 135 million copies, 140 million not copies,
PS4?
consoles. PS4.
It's in the 120s right now, I think.
120. Okay, so it's probably going to hit 130, 135 or so. There's probably going to be some cheaper ones that come out because Sony likes to do that later on. So after the PS5 is out, they'll probably bring out some other PS4s. At least, I don't know. That's what they've done historically, and they did it with the PS2. They did it with the PS3. Shoot, they did it with the PS1. So yeah, we could see that still. But yeah, I like it because now my PS4 games and PS5 games are going to look really cool together. And it's at the point, like, because of the backwards compatibility, if the PS5 is backwards compatible to all my PS4 games, you could put them all, if you don't care about the color swap, you could put them all together alphabetically and not have to separate PS4 and PS5. I don't know if you're a monster like that. I'll probably separate them. I don't know.
I always do. It's alphabetical, or it's alphabetical, and then by console. So
yes,
I'm not gonna be blending no PS5 games with a PS. No, we don't do that around here. It
Yeah,
goes shelf and then shelf. Like, but the
yeah,
PS3
sure.
cases, I don't know if you remember those. Like,
Yep,
it's similar to what you're saying about the Xbox thing. Like,
yeah,
there's just a big difference to me whenever you're looking at a PS3 case versus a PS4. And so I like that they toned that back. I like the clean. I don't need
yeah.
I don't need wild. I don't like. I'm trying to find PS4 console sales to date numbers, and FYI, Bing does not like give you recent articles. I've been trying to use Bing more to get more. No, I've been trying to use it to get more rewards points because you can
Okay.
use rewards points to buy Game Pass, and so I
Ah,
set it as my default, and it is not. It's not. It's giving me 2018 sales numbers when they were still under 100 million, and I know that they're like around 120 now. I just don't know what it is.
yeah, they totally passed that up.
Yeah, I'll find it eventually.
Yeah. On to other stuff that we're fanboys about, and we're not doing this on purpose, but this news just happened to hit, and I think it's important news. You do as well, but
Big
Breath of
news.
the Wild voice actors have said that they're done. They're completed with their voice acting when it comes for Breath of the Wild 2. Now we still don't know when this is coming out. Knowing Nintendo and the fact that they announced this over a year or about a year ago, 2019. Because it's Nintendo, this could come out next year. It could come out 2 years from now. But at the same time, it's such a big game, and it's using the existing engine in a quasi Majora's Mask Ocarina of Time situation. There's a chance that they could launch this Christmas.
I'm going with March.
You go with March. Okay, March is a strong month for those. So I don't know if I'm going to put a bet on there, but either way, I'm happy. I'm going to be happy with it. You'd bet it?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. That's so. Breath of the Wild 1, March 2017. Breath of the Wild 2, March 2021. 4 years. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's a great call. I think now originally, I think that it was going to come out. I think it was going to come out before the end of 2020. I think that there's been some world stuff going on. You may have heard of it. There's just little pandemic things going on. That I think that originally it was probably going to come out. I think we were probably going to see it sometime this summer, and we still might. But right now, I don't know what Nintendo's doing. Nintendo has in recent years been trying to be more famously like less crunch, and so not being able to work in that corporate environment, which I think I could be wrong, but I feel like is a very cultural thing, like working like together and collaboratively. Not that you can't do that online, but I think it's just a different animal. So I feel like Breath of the Wild may have gotten slowed down a little bit, but the fact that these were the Spanish voice actors saying that that work is complete. It's not like Breath of the Wild has a big vocal component anyway, although I expect to see more in Breath of the Wild 2. I think that you're going to see a lot more directed story with the game. If you haven't watched, there's a theory craft video that's like amazing about Breath of the Wild. It's like 10 or 15 minutes long, where they just they go into like guessing like who's the skeleton and like which version it is and which timeline we're on and all that stuff. I'll try and find it.
Where they're saying they don't believe that they believe that what was it, like that Ganon we haven't even seen Ganon in this universe yet? Is that one?
Yeah, so like that was Twilight Princess Ganon.
Yes,
where Link stabs him. I'll try and post the video on the Facebook page because it's an awesome, like way more like the super nerd that you want to see with this kind of game. So I'm thinking March 2021. I'm thinking we see it in the next couple months. Nintendo did like say to some people behind closed doors that there's no directs right now. We are going to see a Treehouse tomorrow on a Waypoint game, which a lot of people are speculating is Metroid. That would be interesting. We're waiting on Origami King, King to come out in a week, and so that embargo hasn't lifted yet.
Oh wow, I can't believe it's coming out that soon. I forgot.
Yeah, and so I think that they're playing it a little slow, but I would expect by like August or September we maybe see a little bit more. But right now, I still think it comes out next year.
Yeah, I can see that. We got some other stuff. I forgot to bring this up, but some other PS5 games. Looks like these are going to come out also on Xbox. They were I don't know, hyped as new PS5 games, but it looks like there's a mix here.
Marketing
it's not
money.
just PS5. It's marketing, yeah. We got Steel Rising, which is let's see. I had this queued up and I forgot about it. You have Steel Rising that's going to come out. Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song. So the previous Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines trailer that we saw, I trashed pretty hardcore. This is the following game, which is slated for 2021, so not far after Bloodlines 2 comes out. And I was kind of floored by the stark difference in the graphical quality, because the other one looked like I mentioned it looked like an Xbox 360 game, and this does not. This looks considerably better.
It could be like that one was developed for these consoles and then pushed, and then this new one was actually developed as next gen.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I thought that was cool. And there's another one that I was trying to queue up here, and I had it missed, but it was Werewolf. Yeah, which I mean, I guess if that's your thing.
All these are dark, man. None of these really stuck out to me, but that's just because of me. Like I don't need to go for the Marie Antoinette and King Louis. Like I'm sure that's cool. Like maybe I'll be surprised, but if these are your thing, that vampire game does look good. I just don't. Just not for me.
It's mine. I love horror. Like I like good horror games. Like I wish that there were, like the Friday the 13th game I thought was pretty cool, but I was waiting for the single player, which we never got. Like to go through those scenarios. There was a Texas Chainsaw game that was like in development hell for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. That's never going to see the light of day. So I feel like these are things that could work well. Excuse me. Vampire is definitely gonna be better. Swan Song rather than Bloodlines, I think is gonna be pretty cool. So yeah, I'm cool with that. What else we got?
That's why you come to the LANCave though. You get the mix. Yeah. The mix of us, we like different.
Yeah. So like some WB games. So we had talked about this a couple weeks ago. Warner is looking at selling off WB games, or at least being speculated that they're selling it off. And it looks like Microsoft has expressed their interest in acquiring Warner Games, which is what I mentioned. I think that was I don't know. To me, I think it was a clear answer that Microsoft and Xbox buying this in and getting the intellectual properties would help them in the next generation. I'm hoping that won't lock them to a console. If we get more Batman games, another Superman game, the Suicide Squad game that's being rumored would probably slide into that, or depending on the contracts, they may have already locked into consoles, depending on how far they've gotten in. But I think this is going to be good for Microsoft. I just hope that it's not going to lock permanently into Xbox and PC.
So so here's the thing that goes in with this that I don't know if I really specified in the notes, but this sale reportedly does not include the IP, the big IP. It doesn't include Harry Potter, and it does not include Batman. And if that's the case, this sale's stupid to me. This is not to knock on all the WB Games studios. I don't like to be mean like that. I'm sure that they do some great work. There's some great Lego games in there. There's and I mean that honestly. Like the Lego games are extremely well made.
I guess you get Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat might be a part of it, which is big. But if you can't get Harry Potter and Batman, like there's kind of like, what's the point? Because you're buying Rocksteady, but you don't buy the games that Rocksteady makes. Rocksteady's a great studio, but if you're gonna buy something for $4 billion, like I want the IP. Like I could close all the studios for all I care. I'm Microsoft. I already own 15 studios that I can happily give these games to. I know that the IP is the big winner, but like whenever I found out that Batman and Harry Potter wouldn't be in it, yeah, you get Mortal Kombat and you get the studio that makes Mortal Kombat, and that is a big get. But I would actually honestly, could I just buy them? Like, could I just like you guys keep Rocksteady and so
Yeah.
on? I'll just take Mortal Kombat. How about a bill instead of $4 bill? Could I just give you $1 for Mortal Kombat? That's something that makes sense to me.
Jeez,
As
do you
opposed to
think Mortal Kombat would be worth $1 billion though for Mortal Kombat?
yeah, over time. I think
I don't know,
that
man. Star Wars was $4 billion. I don't know. I mean, I guess they make they make money off the games, but I don't think they make that much. And the
I mean,
movies are terrible.
let's see if there's any numbers on like Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat 10. Like Mortal Kombat 11 digital sales to reach 1.8 million. That was May of 2019. So let's say it's probably over like 2 million, and that's just talking digital sales. So that's not even that. And so you times that by like $60, we're talking what, $120 million. So I think that, you know, it would take a while to get your money back maybe, but like you have a good studio and you have a good fighting game. So I think that there's something there. But to me, buying all those studios without getting the games that come with them just doesn't make much sense to me. As soon as I saw you don't get Batman, I was like, all right, well, whatever.
Yeah, I can't believe, and I feel bad like that I glossed over that, because I read this article and a couple others and I glossed over that they're not that's not part of it. And if that's not part of it, I would, if I was Microsoft, I don't know if I'd even be interested.
Nope.
I'd rather foster the studios that they currently have, pump that money into those studios, because they bought, was it like 8 or 10 studios the past year. I would just put that money into those studios instead of buying more. When we haven't seen anything from them, I'd rather invest in those current studios to get something out quicker, or make it look better, rather than get more intellectual properties. If I'm not getting Batman.
Yeah, and on the flip side, I actually didn't get to include this article because I just totally forgot, and so that's my bad. But on the Sony side of things, the Warframe, that like long running game, Sony right now is looking at buying that studio, which would include that game, which I think is Brink is the name of the studio. I could be completely wrong. There's a few studios. It's like a conglomerate that they're doing, but they're looking at that studio that owns Warframe, and it also would include some studios that do support work. So like just studios that you hire at, like, so Naughty Dog made Last of Us, but there's definitely also some studios that did some grunt work that are not Naughty Dog, probably anyway. And they do that kind of stuff. So Sony to me, like, that kind of thing makes sense, and I think that buying things and getting games with your purchases is a super important thing. I just, like, whenever you're buying studios, every time that Sony buys a studio, it's on stuff they own. They acquired Insomniac, and they own all, like, not all of it, but virtually all the IP that Insomniac's ever worked on, minus Sunset Overdrive, which I think they do now own because Insomniac owned it. So that's a part of it. I don't understand buying talent, because all that talent has to do is say, I quit. I'm gonna go work for another studio, which actually happened this week. There was and that happened today, and I forgot to include it as well. One of the lead writers for Gorilla quit today to go work for it. So, and he wrote the story for Horizon. And so that's just a thing of, like, okay, we lost the writer. I can go get another writer. I can't go get another Horizon. I can't go get another giant IP like that. So there's a giant IP called Batman and another giant IP called Harry Potter. Like, I want to know how much those cost.
Well, and I say this as a writer, writers are important. Writers
Sure.
are freaking great.
I didn't mean to
But
be rude.
when you have an intellectual property that already is doing well, that already has a fan base to buy in, that means more than the writer. Case in point, if like let's say, what's the guy's name? Anthony Birch that did Borderlands 3. Like if he's doing a new game, okay, like some people may care, and that's cool. But if they say, okay, Anthony Birch's new project or Borderlands 4, and you have no idea who's writing Borderlands 4, more people will buy Borderlands 4. You already have a baked in user base and fan base that's going to buy that game. Lesser so for the writers. Case in point, I'll talk probably about it later, but Elden Ring is the new Miyazaki game that he's working with George R.R. Martin. But do you think Game of Thrones fans are going to go pick up that game? I don't think so. I don't think they're gonna care about it.
Anthony Birch wrote Borderlands?
Yeah, Borderlands 3.
Like Ashley Birch's brother?
Yeah.
Man, that family's a powerhouse in gaming.
That's actually how he was a writer, and then she started doing, like, before she started doing voice acting, she was doing
that's what you're playing.
Exactly. But like when she was doing that, he was a writer. He was writing for video games. So like, they're.
So that's what. Yeah. Is that why she was Tiny Tina?
I don't think it necessarily was why, but I
don't want to give him credit. She's awesome, by the way.
No.
She's even in. I didn't realize it. She's in The Last of Us.
Last of Us.
She's in Last of Us Part 2. She voices one of the enemy factions things. Which is awesome. So again, I love
Aloy, because we're talking about Aloy. Yeah, so, I mean, she's fantastic. Like he could have had nothing to do with what she was doing, and it would Tiny Tina would have been amazing.
And the thing about the Guerrilla Games writer leaving is that Horizon Zero Dawn 2 I'm calling it 2 because I don't the other name's too long, by the way. It's coming out next year. That story is written, and so. Like, not to say that they don't need him anymore, but he probably did a great job on the second one. He did a great job with the lore in the first game, and maybe he's just like, I got paid, I want to go do my own independent thing, which he is starting like a new studio, which is cool for him. And I can't find his name right now. That's the only reason I'm not saying it.
And I was going to say also, again, from the writer perspective, you can keep giving him money, but if he feels like he's not creating the way he wants to create, and he can get the same amount of money over here, or whatever, it doesn't matter as much as just a paycheck and going to work every day, day in and day out. So, anyways, enough about that. Let's talk about some xCloud. So, xCloud, I'm still wanting to test out and everything because Stadia launched early. It's not good. It's not ready. I'd say it's mediocre, but the pricing sucks.
Tech
is great. Pricing sucks. I did not have any problems playing it. The pricing for the games was just terrible. Xbox has positioned themselves with xCloud, and if you can play it on your phone and take it with you, man, as long as you got a decent Wi-Fi connection, then strapping this to the phone. So this is a controller. This is a controller from, where is it?
8BitDo.
Sorry, 8BitDo. Sorry, had it in front of me.
The controller. I've actually never been clear if it's 8BitDo or 8BitDo. I say 8BitDo.
I say do, but like I like that. But I like this even better, where it's a clip onto an Xbox controller. I like the Xbox controller personally, but you can also get their controller, which I will say from a traveling perspective, this thing's very low profile, very sexy.
I love it.
It's almost like a Super Nintendo got with an Xbox controller, and I like them both. I may have to pre-order this because that's just really cool. Being able to stream.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say just being able to stream to my phone, similar to what I'm not streaming obviously, but when I'm playing on my Switch, which is like around me constantly, being able to play in handheld with decent games Not that the Switch did that. I'd say the Vita was the first console to do that, where you have legit games in a handheld.
PSP's got a few.
The what?
The PSP. I mean, well, I'm not gonna go knocking, because the GBA is fantastic. The DS is fine. The PSP has got some games, but yes, the Vita, like in terms of like where you could probably see like a AAA experience on a handheld, like definitely like Uncharted Gold Abyss was there. Hey, cat. Was a.
That's our new mascot.
Yep, Ivan's here. The thing that I liked about this controller, I liked the sticks being next to each other. So I'm a big fan of that. I do not like. I have my my Xbox controller here, and I bought this to play Game Pass games on PC, and it's fine. Like, it's comfortable. I really love the Xbox triggers. Like, the Xbox triggers are awesome, but I just want the stick right here, guys. I just want it right here. For those of you who are listening, I'm playing with the D-pad on the Xbox controller. I want that stick. So whenever I saw this, it looks identical to the Nintendo controller that they have that has two sticks. So there is a Bitto controller that has two sticks. It's got the left and right bumper. In this case, it had the two. I want this controller really bad, but it says that it's for Android. I imagine that it'll probably work on iOS, but we still haven't seen much xCloud on iOS yet. I even checked my registration today to make sure that I was still registered for that beta when it comes out, because if xCloud works, I'm not getting a Series X. Like, I don't need it. I'll play any and all Series X exclusives through xCloud. I don't care if I'm playing on my phone. But I had this idea today. What if Microsoft hooked up with Apple and gave you the xCloud app on Apple TV?
Oh, dude.
I would have an Xbox in almost every room of my house, because I have my PC in here. I have a Apple TV in two different rooms, my bedroom and my media room. I would be set. And I thought of this today. I was like, this deal needs to happen.
Dude, that would be insane. Okay, and you know this better than I do. What's the user base for Apple TV? It's
millions.
I know it's millions. I was gonna ballpark, and I'm probably low on this. I was gonna ballpark at like 20 million. I don't know if you can find the stat for us, but that's an already. It's probably more than that. But that means that you already have that many people.
Let's see. CNET, when was this article written? This article was written in 2014. So this is not the current gen Apple TVs, but just as an example, as of 2014, there was 20 million Apple TV units out there. So let's just imagine that it's 30 or 40 million at this point, with the 4th gen and the 4th gen 4K, which are basically the same thing, except that one is 4K and one is 1080p, which is fine with me. And as of last year, the software update for tvOS includes controller support, so you can hook both an Xbox controller and a PlayStation controller up to Apple TV. So today, lightning hit the brain, and I was like, put xCloud on Apple TV, and you have so many people that
the only question is, will Phil Spencer? How would Phil Spencer and team feel? I guess as long as it's all about software as a service at this point. So
they've gotten out of the they're in bed with Google a little bit, but like they stopped selling their phones. They every WWDC Apple talks about Microsoft Office and stuff and 365 on Mac. So there is like a little bit of relationship there. Obviously Windows is still Windows. Like they're not going to start competing altogether, but Microsoft doesn't make a streaming box yet. Like the Lockhart still might get announced, but like Apple TV has a huge user base in it, and just like how people talk about owning PCs and everything, you have a multi-use box. Like I can use it for my Netflix, I can use it for Vudu, I could use it for Apple streaming, and then now I could also hook my controller up and play xCloud on it. Like Yeah, the only reason that they wouldn't is because the App Store is famous for having a very large charge, kind of like similar to Steam, where I think that Apple takes a pretty big cut. I don't know what that cut is. I'm not in that business know-how, but I know that it's a relatively big cut of what they take, and that would probably be the hang-up, is that it kind of competes with the App Store because you can play Apple Arcade games on there, but who cares? To me, who cares? I know that Apple cares and I know that Microsoft cares, but I think that there's a big opportunity there where if you're going to put it on iPhones, then put it on Apple TV, baby.
Yep, that's I get that. Rounding out the end of today, as we're still talking about Xbox, we have announced the Xbox July showcase, Xbox Series X showcase, whatever they're labeling it, is going to be July 23rd. It was right when you and I predicted that it was going to be towards the end of July. This coinciding with the demos that they're unleashing as if it was an E3 in your home. Then they have this event. I think this is going to be a big event for them, 100%. And it's 2 weeks from today. I want to do a couple predictions in here. You threw in some here. I threw in some here. We don't have to necessarily keep track of who's right and who's wrong. I just think it'd be cool to speculate. Sure. If we want to make tally this, we can. The first one here.
You just don't want to lose again.
I don't want to lose, but at the same time, I want to have bragging rights. Yeah, I admit it. So my first one here, we didn't separate this in this list, so apologies. It'll be a little rough. First one here, obviously, is my choice. Elden Ring. I think we're going to get a trailer from Hidetaka Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin. We're going to get a trailer with some freaking gameplay, maybe actually figure out what the heck this game is about, other than a guy screaming about the Elden Ring and some blacksmith. There's a lot of alleged leaks. Miyazaki said this was going to be a natural evolution of what Dark Souls was. There's speculation that this is merging a lot of concepts that were in Sekiro as well as Dark Souls. So I think this is going to be, they're going to get a trailer for this, and there may be a chance, because Xbox loves this, that it is going to be somehow optimized for Series X, because they want to push that. So I have a feeling that it may be multi-platform, but it's going to look really good. By the way, this guy looks like Ganon. I thought I'd bring that up.
Is Elden Ring not a temporary exclusive?
I did not say. If it is, I didn't see that.
You could be absolutely right. It was initially announced at E3 2019 during the Microsoft press conference. Okay, I thought that I'd heard something that it was like going to be like a temporary exclusive, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that it was temporary. Because it was announced on Xbox, a lot of people thought it was going to be an exclusive or have some type of timed bit. I think that, and Miyazaki said alluded to in interviews that he felt like that's what held Demon's Souls back, was because Demon's Souls was on the PS3 and that was it.
Sony tried.
Sony tried for it?
Sony tried to get some temp exclusive and failed. So that's what I remember that happening. Okay, that's what. Now my brain's all right.
Yeah, I have a feeling like, because Miyazaki has kind of alluded to the fact that he was kind of upset in hindsight that obviously he didn't have the clout when he did Demon's Souls, but looking back at it, he's like, this game was like a cult hit. It's a cult phenomenon, but Dark Souls is what people talk about. They don't say Demon's Souls, they say Dark Souls. So I think that he's learned from that, and he doesn't want to have that again.
Is Demon's Souls remake exclusive?
The Demon's Souls remake? I didn't look. I want to say it's not. I don't believe it is. Double check me on that though. Yeah. My other one that I mentioned in here, because I'm gonna skip the next one. The other one that I mentioned in here, which I think you may agree with, is Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 trailer. Get a little bit more gameplay and possibly a release date. I feel like this is far enough along that we could get a release date.
2022.
2022 for Hellblade?
Yeah.
I say 2021. I think it's 2021. But that's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna pop in here.
Is it being made on Unreal 5?
I don't know,
because I think that I think that Demon Souls remake is exclusive.
I don't believe it is, but yeah,
Well, it's
double
Bluepoint.
checking on
No,
that.
it's Bluepoint. No, you're absolutely right about Elden Ring. I think that the Demon Souls
Yes.
remake is exclusive because it's Bluepoint, and Bluepoint doesn't make games for anybody else right now. And we can cut some of this out on the podcast, which is great. But obviously, Hellblade is. But I want to know: is it being made on?
Yeah, PS4 developers made the PS4 remake, but hold on, does it say it's on PS5? It does not say Xbox. I thought that was on Xbox Series X as well.
Mm-hmm. And then Hellblade.
You know what? With the player base that's on PS4 already, if that's sorry, in regards to Elden Ring, yes, I agree, but I'm surprised that's only on PS5.
Yeah, PS5 exclusive, which is awesome for them. Hellblade 2 is an awesome exclusive for Microsoft. It's being made on Unreal 5, which is why I think 2022, because Unreal 5 doesn't even come out until mid 2021, and so it could be like a big launch for Unreal. I think that would be huge for Unreal 5. It's like, you want to see the first game on Unreal 5, baby, because here it is right there, because you saw how good that game looks.
Dude, she looks amazing in that.
Fantastic, and that game looks creepy AF, and so you might be right now I'm thinking 2022, but you know what I'm feeling,
What's
think
that?
I'm feeling in my bones. I feel that we're gonna see it, and I think that it might be that one more thing. It might be that thing that's like, or they start the show with it, which would be even cooler for me. But I bet they start with Halo Infinite. But Fable 4.
Fable 4 series. Oh, cool.
I think we're gonna see it.
And this is a property that we haven't seen anything from Fable in. Has it been 10 years? I want to say it's been 10 years for when it comes to Fable.
2009, 11 years.
There you go. 11 years since we got some Fable. That needs to be muted, but yeah, I think Fable 3 was okay. I really liked Fable 2. I don't know if you have a favorite, but I love Fable 2. Fable 1 was okay. 3 was just nah.
It was not good.
I feel like it wasn't that great. I feel like 2 was better, and there were a lot of things famously that were promised in 2 that came in that were promised for 1 that eventually were in 2. Things that were promised in 2 that were just terrible in 3. But I think that it's a property that has a ton of people that would buy into it, and if you do a decent Fable game, Fable 4 would be so cool. And I think that it would be a good one more thing, because Halo will just hit it off with a bang. Yeah, Halo hits it off with a bang. You don't have to start off with that.
No, and honestly, like I want to start with Halo, because that's the game where I've been saying the whole time, like, because I've seen a lot of people out there that are like, I want to see Halo. I've already seen Halo. Like, I don't need to see much more Halo. I'm buying Halo. There's not a single person that has access to an Xbox One or Series X that isn't going to play Halo freaking Infinite. So yeah, of course we're gonna see it. I don't care though. I don't need a big story thing. I don't even need a big gameplay thing. Like because I'm already going to buy it. Like, there is no question about me buying it. I want the stuff that I don't know that I'm going to buy yet, even though if they show Fable 4, I know I'm going to buy that.
And Halo is also on your Xbox One, so if you have an Xbox One or an Xbox One X, you're good to go.
The One X will probably play it just fine.
Oh, sure.
I think it'll probably chug on the Xbox One.
Probably. You said you put in your notes you think it's known that it's going to be a launch title. I don't think they fully announced that it will be available at launch. I think it is going to be a day one launch game that's available, because I think that, to me, walking in and buying a new Xbox and buying the new Halo is just hand in hand right there. I think it'd be perfect. I don't think they've confirmed this, and I think it'd be perfect pairing.
Yeah. I think if they haven't confirmed it, then I think 100% that it's announced as a launch. I don't think that there would be any reason not to. And then the only other game related one that I threw in there is that we famously
Mhm.
Microsoft bought Obsidian, and Obsidian made Outer Worlds, which is a fantastic game that you can play on pretty much everything now.
It was
You can
it
even
was
play it on
great.
Switch, and I loved it. I know it's not for everybody, but it's Fallout in space, and I
Mhm.
really dug it. I think it had some great narrative. The writing on it was excellent. I think that we see a enhanced for Series X edition, so I think that you're going to see a prettier Outer Worlds, and then a little nothing. We probably won't even see anything more than like a screen, but I think that we see like a little tease that we're working on Outer Worlds too.
Like a logo or something like that. Just
or
Outer
than or
Worlds
another
2.
DLC, like something there where I
Yeah.
think that they recognize like Obsidian was a big get for Microsoft, and
Mhm.
they need to be in this showcase. So
Yeah.
I know that they just came out with a game, and it is on every console, but you need to flaunt that Obsidian magic and say, hey, we got Obsidian here. And if it's not Outer Worlds, we see another Obsidian game. But I think that Outer Worlds did really well enough to warrant a sequel.
Yeah.
um, but I think that we see that. And then lastly, I still don't think we get a price.
Yeah, you put that in the notes. Man, if we don't get a price still, we are, depending on when it actually launches, we're like 4 months away. By the time this event happens, we are probably 3.5 months away from a launch. Still not having a price. I feel like the end of this month is like they have to announce the price by the time. You may be right though. They may be still playing chicken where they don't announce the price. Price. There's a chance because this is 2020, right? There's a chance that they just tweet out the price at some point. They're like, "Hey, by the way, it's $300
And
and
pre-orders are
350."
live.
And pre-orders are live. Exactly. I think that's what's gonna happen. And I expect you and like two other people to message me at like around the same time and be like, "Get it," because we'll all be attacking at that point. Yeah. And
I heard a
thankfully,
joke that was like, we won't know the price of either console until we get it, like until it ships to us. Like the
yeah,
pre-orders will be live for both consoles, and you'll just be doing it, and there will be no price, and you just be like looking at your bank account. It's like,
yeah,
oh, that's how much it costs. Cool.
yep, yeah. And I think about, like, not to get political here, but man, how classist is that? Like, to like if they did something like that where they're like, "Hey, if you want it." It's like going to a restaurant where there's no prices on anything in the menu. You're like, oh crap! Like, can I afford this?
Oh, if it's not.
As opposed to someone else who's just like, if it's good, I'll pay whatever it's worth, which is nice to be in that position. But at the same time, it's like, even when you have money, you should be able to look at it and say, this is allocated to this is allocated to that. You had earmarked money again for PS5. I have as well. I'm hoping that the PS5 is low enough that the money that I've marked for PS5 will actually take the PS5 as well as that headset, because I'm really liking that headset.
I'm hoping it's enough for the PS5 and every game that launches on
And
PS5.
every game, man, if you get every game that launches,
I don't know what there is, but
yeah,
I want them all, baby. That's not gonna happen, but I want them.
yeah, I feel like I think I may have to grab, like, it's a new console, right? I got to try out the new hotness. I'm gonna of course have my PS4 games, but I got to try out the new hotness. So I'll probably get at least 3 games at launch. And you think about that, 3 games at launch, that's $180 right there, plus tax. You're almost $200, plus the price of your console, plus the price of the headset that I have to get. It's a lot of money, but I'm gonna do it. Like, I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
I'm
I've
still
not been
hoping
this
to get
excited.
a local pre-order. Like I have my
Yeah.
PlayAsia pre-order still. I'm gonna keep it until I get an Amazon or a Best Buy. But I'm also I'm slightly kind of more confident in my PlayAsia one just because it went up first. So I figure if there's any reservation, it was only up for 2 days before
Yeah.
it was gone. So whatever they think that they're going to get, and I imagine that most of these retailers probably know how many units they're going to get for pre-order. I bet that that's a thing. I don't work in retail, but maybe somebody could back me up on that. That like if at this point they may not know the price either, but I bet that there's some manager somewhere that's like, oh, okay, we're getting 1,000 pre-orders nationwide, or we're getting 10,000 pre-orders nationwide, or something like that. I think that may already be out there. We just don't know it yet. And so I'm hoping that with Play Asia that at least I'm locked in early. I'm still hoping that I can get a local one though, so that way I don't have to pay customs.
I agree. I know this is old school, but I really want to do a like local pickup. Like even better if it's like at midnight. I know, man, but like I would like to, if I can grab one from a Best Buy, if I can get one from Target. I mean, even GameStop if I have to. I like the people at my GameStop. I just don't like some of the stuff that the company's done. But if I can get it and then go pick it up at the shop, I kind of like doing that. That way I know I can also time when I'm getting it. Also, I'm gonna probably take the day off work. Go pick it up, because then I'll know, instead of waiting for it like I did for my Final Fantasy 7 and stuff. Like I'll be able to be like, okay, they open at 10, or I get it at midnight the night before, or whatever it is. Go pick it up, come back, do an unboxing video, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm already going to have like the capture card ready, so I can capture the setup, because I'm a nerd. I'm going to capture like setting up the menu on that, because someone's going to want to watch that on YouTube. And then I'll stream it, and I can't wait. Yeah. Are you going to do that? What are you going to do?
Whenever, like, because the thing about if I'm getting it shipped from Asia, I may not have it on launch day, and so that'll be a thing. Maybe I could see a thing if the virus has calmed down. Maybe I could at least go into the store and peruse the launch lineup and do a little classic. But I'm really tempted to go all digital, and so unless there's something, I might buy Spider-Man, Miles Morales, like physical, if they offer it. But I kind of see myself just going onto PSN, loading it all onto my PlayStation name, and then as soon as the console like gets hooked up, it's like, all right, bloop bloop bloop, download, like just cue it. I haven't really thought about like what happens when I get the console, other than like how little schoolboy giddy I'm gonna be. Like my wife knows that tone. There's like a tone that I get where I'm just like, and, I get into that moment. So I kind of won't feel like it's real until I just have it. But I have no desire to go pick up, like I don't that sitting in line thing, like I'm the other side of old, where I
don't have time for that. I hear you.
I shipped my PC to here. I shipped my 4K TV here. I shipped my 1080p, my two 1080p TVs to the house. Like all of those have just been shipped. I have not walked into a store and bought a big giant physical piece of hardware. I did buy my PS4 Pro at GameStop, and that's because I traded in my PS4.
I don't know. There's something. I know it's old school. As I wear my Blockbuster and Chill shirt, like there's something old school about it. Like I think it's cool. If not cool, like at least I know exactly when I'm going to have it, and I can plan out what I'm going to be doing, because that's going to be an event for me that day.
Are you going to take the picture of the console where it's sitting in the front seat of your car and you've put the seat belt around it? Are you going to take that picture?
Yeah, and I think I'm going to have Whitney in the back seat. Someone had a video of that. I'm pretty sure it was an Xbox, but I can't remember. But he had the console strapped in, and he was like doing a video where he's talking about like how excited he is, and then he pans slightly to the right, and you can see his wife or his girlfriend or whatever sitting in the back seat, just irritated. I think it'd be funny, but at the same time, like Whitney would probably want to hold it in the front seat, like she did that with the Xbox Series, Xbox One X. When we bought that, we traded in and bought that, and she literally held my console. She literally held it like on the drive home. I was like, we can put it in the back. She's like, no. She was so happy about it. I did make a decision, by the way. I don't know if I told you. I did make a decision. I'm going to go with the one with the disc, with the traditional, if you will, with the disc drive.
Yeah, no, you have to.
And partially for my PS4 games, partially because it's a 4K Blu-ray player. I have 4K Blu-rays, and that is going to, when the PS5 comes out, that's going to be the only console in the living room that stays in the living room. I may bring others into the living room to play games, but we don't play the Xbox as much. I'm going to have at that point, I'm going to have the Xbox and PS4 will be in here. So now my question is, do I put them, like, do I rig them up on the wall? Like, I don't know where to put them yet. But yeah, Xbox One X and the PS4 will be in here. The PS5 will be out there. And the disc drive will be for Blu-rays as well as some games. But I think we're going to go mostly.
Shot.
Oh, what's that?
If you have a long enough HDMI cable, you got to put them in the shot.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I could put one like up here and then put another over there, and do the wall mount that people do, where it's like flush against the wall.
That'd be cool. I don't have room for it. Otherwise, like, I would put my PS4 over there, and but my TV that I'm going to be running my streaming things all the way over here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
not going to look cool. You guys just get to look at friends' Legos. So.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I was gonna say they were gonna go under like my desk, like vertical, like under because they will fit there. But that's not cool. They may have to go up here on the wall. I do have some posters actually I'm gonna put up there, so maybe they won't go on the wall. We'll see what happens. Anyways, stay tuned to figure out where we put our consoles when we upgrade to the PS5. Stay tuned for more information about the PS5, because we'll be telling you about it. If you're subscribed to the LANCave on Facebook, you'll get that information very quickly, but you'll definitely get to listen to us talk about it live on Facebook every Thursday, as well as in podcast form whenever you want to download your podcast. So yeah, stay tuned. We'll see you later.